The Beaches podcast is going to give you everything you want to know about a beach before you go there. I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to check out our website, www.sandee.com. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
Ready to ditch the crowds and trade those typical tourist traps for something a little more, shall we say, undiscovered.
I think we've got just the ticket for that.
This is The Deep Dive, where we take your listener requests and really dig into the details.
And today we're setting our sights on a destination that's been popping up in our inbox lately, São Tomé and Príncipe.
Yeah, when a couple of you mentioned wanting to escape to an island paradise, and specifically this archipelago off the coast of Africa, well, we had to dive in. The snippets you sent over, fascinating stuff, hinted at a place that's got a whole lot more going on than your average beach getaway.
It's true, and that's what makes it so captivating, at least from what I'm seeing in these excerpts. It's not just about the beaches, though. I mean, those definitely sound incredible.
Oh, we'll get to those. Don't you worry about that. Black sand beaches, anyone.
Exactly. But it's more than just that picture-perfect image. You know, it's the way the landscape, the history, even the biodiversity, it all kind of blends together.
You're right. The landscape was one of the first things that jumped out at me from the notes you sent over. Volcanic islands, extinct volcanoes. So set the scene for us. What does that actually look like when you get there?
Okay, so picture this. You've got lush rainforests, right? But they're clinging to the slopes of these incredible extinct volcanoes. And oftentimes you'll see their peaks kind of shrouded in this hazy mist. It's pretty magical.
Okay, see, you're already drawing me in, and we haven't even gotten to the beaches yet.
Right. And about those beaches, some are, what you'd expect, the classic paradise image. Palm trees swaying, golden sand, crystal clear waters. But then you've got these other beaches, equally as stunning, but with sand that's this striking black color.
Volcanic, right?
Exactly. Volcanic activity. It's really something else.
Okay, you keep using this word pristine, and honestly, it's the perfect way to describe it, at least from the excerpts we're looking at. But is it really that untouched?
It really can feel that way, especially on some of the more remote beaches. You mentioned getting away from the crowds. This is it. We're talking Robinson Crusoe vibes, where you might genuinely be the only one leaving footprints in the sand that day.
I love that, and I'm sensing that's a big part of what makes São Tomé and Príncipe so special, that sense of discovery of the unexplored.
You hit the nail on the head.
Okay, but hold on. We're already talking about pristine beaches and Robinson Crusoe landscapes, and we haven't even touched on the history yet. I saw some notes about colonial influences in what you sent over. And honestly, the idea of these crumbling plantations overlooking those black sand beaches, well, that's an image I can't get out of my head.
Yeah, it's a powerful image, and it speaks to the layers of history that are so present in these islands. The Portuguese, they arrived in the 15th century, and their influence is still very much alive today.
You can feel it.
Absolutely. You see it in the architecture, which is this really cool blend of colonial grandeur, but also that tropical practicality. And it's not just the buildings. Imagine yourself, I don't know, wandering through a town square. Maybe there's a 16th century church with these faded pastel facades, and right beside it, a bustling market just overflowing with spices and local produce.
Okay, this is no longer just a beach getaway.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about a feast for the senses.
Exactly.
So we've got stunning beaches, a volcano or two, a dose of history. What about the food? Any hints of that in the excerpts you sent over?
Based on what we have here, it seems like the cuisine is this delicious fusion of Portuguese and African flavors. So think like fresh seafood, of course, but grilled with that spicy piri-piri sauce. Or maybe a hearty stew that's fragrant with coconut milk and ginger.
Oh my goodness, I'm already booking my flight.
And don't even get me started on the tropical fruits. I mean, we're talking mangoes, papayas, pineapples, all bursting with flavor.
You had me at bursting with flavor. Okay, so this is all starting to paint such a vivid picture. Now, for the million-dollar question, how easy is it to actually get there, to experience all of this firsthand?
It definitely requires a bit of an adventurous spirit, but honestly, I think that's a big part of the allure, wouldn't you say? There are resorts, if that's your thing, but I think the true magic really lies in exploring beyond those well-trodden paths.
So for someone who craves that sense of discovery, who wants to be completely captivated by a place where the history, the nature, the culture are also deeply intertwined, this is it, isn't it?
Imagine standing on that black sand beach, the warm Indian Ocean lapping at your feet, the remnants of a colonial plantation just up on the hillside behind you. That's São Tomé and Príncipe, a place where adventure, well, kind of beckons at every turn.
You've convinced me. Now, how do we make this happen?
Thanks for listening to the show, and be sure to tune in next week for your favorite episode about some of the best beaches and beach information in the world.